Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you, I'm going to be showing you a bit of an installation and give you my preliminary thoughts of a Magpul MOE stock. So right now, on my AR-15, I got one of those really crappy mil-spec type stocks. And I put a rubber butt pad on it, but these stocks suck. I knew that when I got this rifle. This stock came with the rifle. But it's that magical time of season again where I'm getting ready for another season of shooting at the range, and I decided it was time to get a new stock because this thing, like I said, sucks. Got a lot of play to it. I mean, it works in the sense that it's a stock. It does do the job. They're believe it or not, for how cheaply made they are, they're fairly durable. But they suck. So let me get this off to the side quick. I went to Palmetto State Armory, got myself a Magpul MOE stock. Now, I already did unpackage this. I already did check it out. But I'll go through, show you what's in the packaging. Basically, it's not much. You know, you got to cut. There'll be tape on the ends here. You got to slice that tape off, obviously. And box slides out. You get a nice box. There's Magpul. That way you know you're getting a legit Magpul stock, right? Because there is, of this type, there is some, I don't know if I want to call them knockoffs, but essentially they're knockoffs that are not as good as the Magpul. The stock will come in a bag, and the bag will just be folded up and taped. Okay. And there'll be some paperwork in there too, which the paperwork will have the installation. Now, there's one thing to be careful of when you're getting these stocks is what type of buffer tube do you have? For those who are not gun savvy, which I'm sure if you're watching this, you might be somewhat gun savvy, but this is this part here. This is the buffer tube. There is two different buffer size tubes. There's mil-spec and there's civilian. Or, well, sorry, it's called commercial. I just looked down at the paperwork, saw that. It's called commercial. There are two different size buffer tubes. This one is a mil-spec. So make sure when you get one of these stocks from Magpul, no matter where you get it from, that you get the right type for your rifle. And more than likely, your buffer tube specs will be either in your manual or you'll be able to find them online, the manufacturer's website. Mine, I knew was mil-spec. I know the specs to my AR-15. Sorry, actually, it's technically a DB-15. But I'll come with the installation paperwork, which I honestly already know how to install it. And then it will come with this information as well, telling you about the differences in sizes between a mil-spec and a standard. Okay, so what's the stock look like? Well, looks like that. I got mine in OD green. As you can see with my AR-15, I got a black and OD green thing going on, so I went with the OD green instead of the black. But you can also get these in FDE, which is more of a kind of like a dark tan or a light brown, kind of somewhat close to coyote tan, and gray, as well as black. And then this also has a rubber butt pad on it too, which is pretty nice. So when it comes between the two stocks, I definitely want to say that this one just feels heavier. It doesn't feel a lot heavier, and it feels like a better overall construction. It's also got multiple points for sling. You can actually put your sling through these slots here. You got a slot here, and you can also do a rain mount here. So there's a lot of different places you can set up for your sling. Me personally, I'm going to put mine back here through this slot, which you're not going to see. I'm not going to show you how to actually sling the rifle. I'm just going to take time, show you the stock installation. All right, so let's get my AR-15 here. Installing the stock is really simple. Oh, for YouTube, I better get the mag out. I already know this is empty. I cleared it before I started recording, but I'll clear it again for the YouTube nuts. Okay. So now you all see it and it's clear. So for the removal of the old stock, it's real simple. So you got this tab here. This is your adjustment button. All you got to do, pull that out, and it slides off. And then you got the fully exposed buffer tube. Now these stocks, the stock here, the stock here, these will work on AKs. Don't be fooled by the fact that the package says AR-15. The trick is, though, is you got to modify the AK to take an AR-15 buffer tube. Pretty much anything that's got this buffer tube can take these stocks. And as long as you have the right buffer tube for said stock. So I'll take the rubber butt pad off of the mil spec and just show you this stock. These things are so, they work, but I'm going to be honest with you folks. These things suck. And anyone, military service personnel, who's had to deal with the M4s or has their own personal AR-15s, they're going to agree with me. They suck. They work, they're stock, but they're not a very good stock. The big thing with this is these actually tend to have a lot of play in them, even when they're the proper size. This is the mil spec size, and yeah, it's so sloppy. And the other thing too is with this Magpul, I'm not sure how well you're going to see it. I can see it really well, but the cheek rest part of the stock on these Magpuls are just a little, they seem to be a little thicker. And that's more nice when you want to go for the snapshot. It makes them a bit more ergonomic, if you will. Now I'm going to have work glove here. I'm going to put this on quick. Well, it's actually my shooting gloves. Put this on quick because this part is a pain in the ass on the Magpul. Now with the mil spec, you know, pulling this tab, this is really nice and easy. With the Magpul, what I found is, hold the rifle between my legs here quick. When I need it a little higher than that, huh? There we go. Okay, so at the Magpul, you have a pin on the outside, and it runs through both sides. Okay. So what I do is I grab a hold of the adjustment switch, start to slide it on, and then I grab a hold of that pin, pull that pin down, and then it slides on, no problem. Okay? Now this it's still a tad loose, but you're going to get that anyway because that's like the nature of the buffer tube style stocks. You know, if they make it super tight, you're not going to be able to adjust it. Okay. But it is definitely a tighter fit. And the thing I noticed with the cheek rest, because I've actually already messed with this just to make sure of everything was going to fit. When I go to pull up the rifle to do a quick snapshot, it just kind of drops into position or raises into position, if you will, a lot quicker, easier than the mil spec does. And that's what I was talking about with the cheek rest part. It feels a little thicker, and it actually makes the stock a little more ergonomic because it's raising up and getting to my cheek faster. And it has my head into a better position than if I was using this stock. The next advantage that this is going to have too is shots are going to be more accurate because the play is just enough actually to mess with the accuracy on these. It's not a huge difference, but I can tell there's a difference compared to like a solid fixed stock like you'd find on like a hunting rifle or a sniper rifle, I guess. But yeah, I mean, this stock is honestly my thoughts is this stock is really good. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by PSA or Magpul or anybody else. I'm telling you my thoughts. I've never had one of these until now. I never had one of these either until I got this rifle, the mil spec style. Because when I was in the service, I had an M16A2, and they don't have an adjustable stock. But I knew, like, even when I was in the service, these had bad reputations of like they're just good enough, and they're honestly they're cheaply made stocks. But here's the thing about it too is I was looking it up to buy one of the mil spec stocks is $20, and I snagged this on a PSA at Palmetto State Armory's website for 35. It was like 36, 37 after shipping and tax. The military, I don't, the government being a bunch of cheap asses is one thing. Honestly, I don't know why AR-15s are not coming with these stocks already at this point, except for people want to cheap out. I mean, this is like a budget entry level AR-15. It's a Diamondback, but like Smith and Wesson's M&P 15s, they're $800 rifles, and they come with this shit. No, that's not no bueno, no bueno. Even Palmetto, I just saw has an AR-15, a PSA AR-15, and they got that thing on sale right now for $600. It normally goes for $900, and it comes with an MOE. So I say honestly, with just my preliminary thoughts, without taking this out to the range and using this and putting rounds through the rifle, even though there's already rounds through the rifle, like this stock or something better, these are just at this point in the game, these are unacceptable. They're just, they're good enough to do the trick until you can afford to get yourself something better. But anyway, folks, let's put this off to the side. And I think I'm going to end the video at that. So anyway, folks, hopefully you all enjoyed this. Got to see the installation of a Magpul MOE stock, and also got to hear my thoughts, my preliminary thoughts, if you will, about the Magpul MOE stock, which, as I said, I definitely feel it's worth the price tag. Anyway, folks, thanks again for tuning in. Also, you want to throw me some support, like, share, subscribe, and if you want to throw some additional support, you can check me out on Patreon. Anyway, folks, thanks again for tuning in, and have yourself a wonderful day.